Welcome back to Capybara Go, guys, and today we are doing pets tier list. You wanted that, and we will do that. Just like I want to beg you for likes and subscribes before we begin. That will help to promote the video in YouTube algorithm. The most interesting thing that pets up to rare rarity are not that useless, so we'll do this. And basically, we will remove all the unnecessary pets that don't worth anything and save a lot of time. The only good news about the pets that are low tier that you can level them up and get their upgrade effect for extra stats. For those work on level 5 and level 10 and then level 25 and 30. Those will give you attack and HP percentage bonuses, so those are really good. Other than that, if you're just starting out, get the best rarity pet that you can get for extra stats and everything and just go with them. It doesn't matter which one you pick, up to epic rarity. So now we will start with two guys over here. First one is Epic Ice Shroom. This fella can put a shield on you every 4 rounds, which is actually pretty good. So for lower tier pets, let's put it to C tier, because like you don't want to use this pet afterwards, but if you don't have anything else, that will do. Another good option is Snowy. That dude will freeze the enemies every 4 rounds, which is actually pretty good crowd control, so it will be right next to it. I honestly prefer the shield a bit more early game, so Ice Shroom gets like the priority before the other guy. Now we move on to interesting part, legendary pets. Those are goddamn weird. Icewind Fox is basically an upgraded version of that Snowy guy, and it will freeze enemies every 3 rounds and get higher chance and get more damage. So unless you'll get other pets, it will be a bit better option. B tier right here. Next one is Glazed Shroom, and it will give you hero skill damage every 3 rounds for 2 rounds. That's extra DPS, but usually when you're just building up your pets early game, those guys, they will be unnecessary. You need more survivability at that point, and you can compensate your damage with the skills that you take during the run. So it will be completely useless, and it will be like in the D tier as well. I never actually used that. Then we get the Cactus Fighter. This dude is funny. It just deals a bit more damage than other pets, actually 400% instead of 180, so that's a pretty good bonus damage. I used it because it was my first legendary pet, and it did pretty decent damage, but outside of that, not that great. So as always, use the priority. If you have your legendary pet, use it. If you have like higher tier legendary pet, use that instead. Monopoly here. This dude is kind of interesting. Every 2 rounds, it increases damage taken by targets by 10% for 1 round. So that's a good damage increase, and it's 5% for like on average. So it works okay. It's not great though, and it's pretty useful in some boss fights and in the areas where you don't need survivability to get a bit extra damage. But when you will get to the Mythic guys, you probably won't use him at all. Next one is Flame Fox, and this fella gives us burn ability, which is pretty useless, so it will go straight to the D tier as well. That's a quick tier list here, right? Yeah, trying to make it as convenient for you as possible, guys, like for the speed here. And we move on to the Little Alien. As you can see, this legendary pet is really useful, even in the late game when you get Immortal and Mythic pets. So what does it do? It heals you based on your attack every 3 rounds. It doesn't heal you that much, but it's enough to keep you alive during some fights, so it's an S tier. This fella works really well, and if it's your first legendary pet and you don't have the Mythics yet, work on that one. That will help you out so much with your playthroughs. Alright, now let's move on to the Mythic guys. First one is Flash. You guys will probably get this guy for free earlier than the rest of them, and it's a pretty cool pet for the early game. It will allow you to do more damage to the bosses because it deals 6% of target's current HP as damage, so you can use it for the guild bosses and the seal battle. The problem with this fella that later on, that damage doesn't feel a lot, and when you need to build your pets and get them additional stats, it gets pretty pricey, and getting this guy work, I didn't make it to work, to be honest. I either lack damage reduction because it's spread between my other pets, or it just doesn't do enough damage to the normal enemies and bonuses are not that great. So it's debatable, although I think if you build it properly, it can be a good bonus to the boss damage and might work. So I'll put it to the A tier, and if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious on your opinion. This is very debatable topic, to be honest. All the tier lists are very subjective, and this one is totally no exception. So that's my personal opinion. You might not agree with that, and you will be right. Next one is Baby Dragon. This one looks pretty cool, and that was my first epic that I pulled, and it's useless because it's burn damage that nobody uses. So it will be somewhere in the B tier. It gives you more stats, it deals a bit more damage, but I think even those guys like Snowy and Ice Shroom are better. Not sure though. By the time you will get this Icewind Fox, so that will give you some freeze and Little Ellie, so yeah, probably not worth using at all. At least in the current game meta where burn build isn't really a thing because it falls down really fast, and later chapters you will just waste your resources. Next one is Slime King. Now this fella is interesting. This dude will increase your combo and counter chance by 8% at the basic level, and the further you level it up, the more it will be, and it gets 3 stacks that will stay until the end of the combat. That's 24% of combo and counter chance. That's extra attacks for you, and it's really, really good. Depending on your build, it can be like your top priority pet, or you might not use it. I use Whisper right now, and I don't main it, because for me, other options I feel are better. I might be wrong though, because everyone is different. So yeah, basically this fella by default will give you extra combo and counter damage, and what's cool that it's collectible. I got it randomly though. It will give you sword chi damage. So basically it's useless for the guys who don't use the Sky Splitter. If you use the Sky Splitter build though, this will be your top pet, because 50% damage increase to this sword chi damage is insane. And then only star 4 will give you additional damage to combo and counter, and then sword chi damage increase even more at level 9, which is extremely expensive. So yeah, for sword chi it's one of the best pets. For builds that utilize a lot of combo and counter and needs more attack, that means their main weapon basically, it's useful as well. For the Whisperer build, it's still good, but I find to be more effective with other pets. Anyway, really good pet, it's an S tier right here. Now we move on to Purple Demon Fox, and this fella is cool because I love purple color, and this fox looks really cute. The problem is, it increased damage taken by targets by 15% for 1 round every 2 rounds, so that's an upgrade of this Monopoly dude over here. And it might be good, but in most scenarios you will need more survivability here, not the damage, so it falls off. It can be used on the boss fights, for example. If you really want to maximize the boss damage, you can use it, but once again, at the Mythic and higher level, when you progress the game, the build becomes very important, and once again, spending extra resources on building extra pet, it doesn't work for me right now, so that's why I don't use it, but it might be a good option, so we'll put it in the A tier, somewhere next to the Flash right here. A really good pet, not the best one. Most people would like to go with something else though. Next fella, Unicorn. This is not everyone's favorite, but this is my favorite so far. It looks pretty cool, and it increases crit by 8%, staking up to 3 times, so that's 24%, and if I read it correctly, and I think I'm right, it's critical for everything, not only your basic attack bar, but also for your skills. And for the Whisper build, it's really cool, because first of all, it increased the crit rate of your main weapon, so you will get more daggers out. Second, it increased the crit rate of all your stuff. Your daggers, your bolts, your everything, so it will add up a lot. And with the Crit Mastery skill, that will increase your crit damage quite a lot, and overall it will give you crazy bonus to damage. So this one is really good for the crit builds, although if you're maining some other builds that are not so focused on skills or not so focused on crit, that might be not the best option. Most people would prefer Slime King, Ellie and Elsa for the beginners, but I use Unicorn, Elsa and Ellie right now. So for me it's an S tier, and it's on par with the Slime King for me. So I don't know which one to use more, honestly. I like them both, but we don't have enough slots for that. So really cool Mythic pet. Now let's move on to Immortal pets. There are 3 in the game right now. First one is Elsa. This one is available by default. You can pull it as soon as you get to the I think level 11 summon, so you get like 0.5% chance to get it. And in the Immortal pool, by default, at least right now, you will get only one pet, and that is Elsa. So every time you will pull Immortal, it will be Elsa. This is important. I will explain why in a second. So this pet is insanely cool. It activates every 1 round. That means it doesn't have the cooldown. Dealing pretty decent damage, it's okay, but its effect is reducing the target's attack by 5% and increasing the damage taken by 10% and 3 stacks. What does it mean? Reducing target's attack means their attack will be lower. So it adds up on top of damage reduction. So if the enemy's attack is 10 million and it will be lowered by 10%, it will be 9 million, right? I'm not sure. But yeah, basically it will be lower and then it will be easier to reduce. So it's really great. And it also increases damage taken by 30% after 3 stacks, which is 3 turns. So increase your survivability and the damage enemy takes. Really bad, like one of the best pets in the game. And I have no idea who would use anyone else but Elsa right now. Really nice. Collectible is really hard to get, but once it will be available for you, wow, they will also freeze the enemies after that and increase the debuff stack limit to 5 layers instead of 3. That's really powerful. So yeah, the further it goes, the better it gets, and it's really great. The problem, it's really hard to get that one. Yeah, I believe I don't have even a single shard of that from the chest, and I'm not even sure if you can get it from the chests. Let me know in the comments if you guys managed to get Elsa statue pieces from the chest, not from the events and whatever it was available before. Like those normal things, gem and pet chests. And I want to hear your opinion on that as well. So yeah, this is obviously the best pet in the game, but there are 2 more. So we will use Capybara Go wiki for that, and they are available through the Capi Gacha when you will get the chance to pull the pets. And once you get one of those through the Capi Gacha, then you can summon them using your pet eggs. And if you pull Immortal pet, then it will randomly decide if it will be Elsa that's already in the pool or your new pet. That's why sometimes it's not recommended to get extra pets over there, because Elsa is just so good, and leveling it up to level 20 will increase those debuffs on the enemies even more, and it's so powerful that most people hesitate to get the new pets. I'm not sure what's my stance on that. You decide for yourself, guys, but I think it's pretty cool. So the next pet is Freya. It's also immortal, and it casts skill after every 2 rounds, deals same damage as Elsa, and it does skill damage, not the normal attack damage. Increase hero skill critical rate by 8% and skill damage by 15%, maximum 3 stacks until the battle ends. So Freya is very useful for spellcaster builds. If you use Reaper Staff, even if you use daggers, I think, and you rely on the lightning and that kind of stuff, or daggers, or basically anything but your main weapon, it will be really strong. The problem is what to replace. So if you have enough survivability, Ellie has to go, because this fella right now, it doesn't heal that much for me. So maybe it's up to you to decide. It's another great pet. I wouldn't say it's better than, come on, you put away. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's better than Elsa, but it is really nice. And if you want to add a pet to your pool, you would like to add Freya. We'll talk about the team composition in the end of the tier list, because we want to move on to the piggy, to our last fella right here, another immortal pet. And this one does the same damage, but as combo damage, and gain 2 rounds of bounty. And bounty increase attack by 15% and lifesteal by 15% when bounty is active. So basically 2 stacks of that will increase your attack by 30%, which is a lot, to be honest, and lifesteal by 30%. I'm not actually sure if it's lifesteal or lifesteal rate. If it's a lifesteal, I don't like lifesteal, because it's based on your HP pool, but it's scales of your damage, so I'm not really sure where to stand here. But obviously Piggy is a really unique option, and I wouldn't recommend getting it for the newer players. So for most people, I would recommend getting the Freya first, play with that, figure out how your build works with that, and Piggy, it doesn't really fit really well in most builds, but it will dilute the Immortal pool even more, meaning that it will be way more harder to build up both of your Elsa and Freya, so I wouldn't recommend getting that. But overall, I think it's third Immortal pet. It's definitely not the second one. It's situational, but it's still pretty cool. Don't forget that when you get those Immortal pets, you can also get additional upgrade effects for leveling them up. Also, you will need the copies of them for that, so yeah. But yeah, it means quite a lot as well. So that's the tier list, but the main question is which pets do you want to use? I mean, those guys at the top of the tier list, all of those S tiers are very valuable. I think the top pet that you would like to use in all the team compositions is Elsa. Damage bonus, damage reduction, always nice. In the boss fights, the damage bonus enemy take, really useful. Damage reduction, useful in all other scenarios like dungeon and adventure. And after that, it will depend on your build. Unicorn for the critical builds, Slime King for the rest of the builds, especially the builds that are focused on the weapon damage. It will give you more combos, more counters, and that's even more chances to trigger things. So might be good for most builds as well. Debates on the Discord are going forever, so there is no conclusion which one is the best. Test it for yourself. Play with any of them. You can easily reset them afterwards and then like invest in other heroes. It's okay, you can kind of do that. And collectibles isn't really necessary, so you can play with them, integrate in your build, do a couple of runs with each pet and figure out for yourself. So yeah guys, that's the Capybara Go pets tier list for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any additions, opinions and whatever, share them down below in the comments and like the video while you go in there and subscribe if you haven't yet. If you watched the video till the end, you probably would like to subscribe. Also check out the pinned comment in the video description for the links, playlist with the rest of the videos, Discord link where we can talk, and Capybara Go wiki where you can get more info on the game. Also LD players, so you can play this game on the PC like I do over here. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. It's been Stan Kosh. Have a good one. Bye.